Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something real. What's the first thing that comes out of your mouth when you wake up in the morning? Is it power or is it poison? Because here's the truth. You are the first person you talk to every single day. And what you say in that conversation, that's what sets the tone for your entire life. You might not even realize it, but your words, your thoughts, they're either building your future or blocking it. Most people walk around tired, drained, defeated, not because life broke them, but because their own voice did. That little voice in your head, it's either your coach or your critic. It can lift you up or tear you down. And if you're not careful, you'll go your whole life fighting battles you created in your own mind. But here's the good news. You've got the power to flip that switch. Starting today, I want you to learn how to talk to yourself like somebody who believes in you. Not somebody who's scared, not somebody who's stuck, but somebody who knows they've got purpose, power, and potential. So in this message, I'm going to give you 9 things to tell yourself every single day. Not because it sounds good, but because it works. These are the kind of words that change how you show up, the kind of words that make you stop doubting and start doing. And if you give me just a few minutes of your time, I promise you, by the end of this talk, you'll never talk to yourself the same way again. You ready? Good. Let's get into it. 3 words, simple words, but these words, they can change your whole life if you let them. Most people don't wake up feeling like they're enough. They wake up with a weight on their chest. That weight might be guilt, shame, insecurity, or pressure to prove something. And before they even brush their teeth, they've already started tearing themselves down. I'm not smart enough. I'm not attractive enough. I'm not successful enough. That voice in their head gets loud. And guess what? When that voice runs the show, it controls how you walk, how you talk, how you love, how you lead, and how far you go. But let's tell the truth. Feeling not enough doesn't come out of nowhere. It starts somewhere. Maybe it was a parent who made you feel invisible, a teacher who said you'd never be anything, a relationship that made you feel replaceable, a job that made you feel small. Somewhere along the line, you picked up the idea that you weren't measuring up, and you started living like it was true. But hear me loud and clear. You don't need to prove your worth to anybody. You don't need to jump through hoops. You don't need to earn love by being perfect or popular or productive. You are already enough just as you are, right now. Not when you get the job, not when you lose the weight, not when you get the money or the relationship or the applause. Right now, with the flaws, with the fears, with the broken pieces, with the stuff you're still working on. Being enough doesn't mean you don't have room to grow. It just means you stop growing from a place of shame. It means you don't hustle to be worthy. You grow because you already are. That's the difference. Growth rooted in, I'm not enough, will burn you out. But growth rooted in, I am enough, will build you up. You see, when you truly believe that you are enough, it changes how you move. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop begging for validation. You stop settling for crumbs when you deserve a full plate. You stop pretending to be someone else just to get picked. You show up as yourself, boldly, fully, freely. And I'll tell you something else. It's not arrogant to believe you're enough. It's not prideful. It's powerful. Because when you stop doubting your worth, you become dangerous in a good way. You stop being controlled by fear. You stop letting other people's opinions write your story. You stop apologizing for existing. You stand up straighter. You speak with purpose. You choose better. You love deeper. You protect your peace. And you start walking like somebody who knows they were created for more. So here's what I want you to do every single morning, but before noise of the world gets to you, look yourself in the mirror and say, I am enough. even if your voice shakes, even if you don't fully believe it yet. Say it anyway. Say it until your heart starts to catch up with your words. Say it until your mind starts to shift. Say it until your spirit starts to rise. Say it until you stop questioning it. Because the truth is, nothing outside of you can fill the space inside of you if you don't already believe you're worthy of it. No title, no partner, no paycheck, no praise will ever be enough if you don't first believe that you are enough. You are not a mistake. You are not behind. You are not less than. You are not too much. You are not too late. You are enough. And the moment you start talking to yourself like that, watch what happens. Watch how your life starts to shift. Watch how doors open, how peace shows up, how power rises in you. All because you decided to say 3 simple words and believe them. I am enough. That's not just a feel-good phrase. That's a declaration, a mindset, a decision to back yourself even when nobody else does. Because let's face it, life will test you. Dreams will test you. People will doubt you. Some will laugh at your goals, question your worth, and wait for you to fail. But if you don't believe you've got what it takes, you'll fold every time you feel pressure. Think about this. How many times have you walked away from something you wanted, not because it was impossible, but because you convinced yourself you weren't capable? Maybe you didn't apply for the job because you thought you weren't qualified. Maybe you didn't speak up because you thought your voice didn't matter. Maybe you didn't take the leap because you feared the fall more than you trusted the wings on your back. And all of that comes from one belief. I don't have what it takes. Let me tell you something straight. You've survived 100% of your worst days. You've handled heartbreak, failure, pain, loss, setbacks, and you're still standing. You may be bruised, you may be tired, but you're still here. That alone proves something. It proves there's strength in you that you haven't even fully tapped into yet. There's power in you that you haven't even accessed. So why not believe that you've got what it takes? When you walk through life with this mindset, everything changes. It's not about arrogance. It's about assurance. It's about looking at your circumstances, your challenges, your mountain, and saying, oh, I might not have all the answers, but I've got the heart, the will, and the grit to figure it out. That's what this is about. It's about deciding to bet on yourself even when the odds don't look good. Because let me tell you, life doesn't always wait for you to feel ready. Opportunities don't always come wrapped in confidence. Sometimes you have to take the step scared. You have to apply before you think you're qualified. You have to say yes before you have it all figured out. You have to start building the plane while you're already in the air. And when that moment comes, you've got to be able to tell yourself, I've got what it takes. That's the only way you move forward. Here's the thing, most people are waiting to feel confident before they take action. But the truth is, confidence doesn't come first, action does. And the more you act like someone who believes in themselves, the more you actually start to believe it. The voice in your head starts changing. The fear gets quieter. The doubt loses its grip. And suddenly, that mountain in front of you starts looking like something you can climb. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the most experienced, but you do have to believe that what you've got inside of you is enough to start. Because it is. That belief, I've got what it takes. It becomes your anchor when everything around you is shaking. It becomes your fuel when you're running low. It becomes your shield when people throw shade. It becomes your reminder when you start forgetting who you are. So how do you build that belief? You start talking to yourself differently. You stop saying, I hope I can. And you start saying, I know I can. You stop saying, I don't know how. And you start saying, I'll figure it out. You stop looking around for someone to save you, and you start realizing you've had the power to move forward all along. This is your life, your vision, your calling. And the world doesn't need another person waiting for permission to believe in themselves. The world needs you to rise up, to stand tall, to walk in the room with that quiet, grounded confidence that says, I've got what it takes. Say it loud, say it often. Say it until your spirit believes it, because the moment you start moving like it's true, that's the moment your life starts catching up to your mindset. You've got what it takes. Now go prove it to yourself. That right there, that's freedom, that's peace, that's truth. Because this idea that you've got to have it all figured out, all together, all polished before you make a move, that idea is what's been holding too many people back. It's a lie dressed up like wisdom. And if you believe it, you'll spend your whole life waiting for the perfect moment, trying to be the perfect person in the perfect situation, and you'll miss out on everything real, everything good, everything that actually moves you forward. Let me tell you something. Perfection is a trap. It keeps you stuck in your head. It makes you second guess every decision, every step, every word that comes out your mouth. You start editing yourself, shrinking yourself, hesitating to show up fully because you think, if I mess up, they won't respect me. If I fail, I'll look weak. If I show them the cracks, they won't see my value. But what if I told you it's the cracks that make you real? What if I told you that people don't connect to perfect, they connect to honest? Nobody relates to the person who has it all together. They relate to the one who struggles, who fights through fear, who gets knocked down and still shows up anyway. That's where your power is, not in the illusion of being flawless, but in the courage to be real, in the boldness to stand tall with your scars, your flaws, your past, and say, yep, I've been through it, but I'm still here, and I'm still strong. When you chase perfection, you delay your growth. You put your purpose on pause. You spend more time hiding your imperfections than using your gifts. And while you're busy trying to be polished, somebody out there is making an impact simply because they showed up messy but ready. That's the difference. Power doesn't come from pretending. It comes from owning who you are, owning where you are, owning your voice even when it shakes. Think about all the people you admire, the ones who move you, inspire you, shake something loose in your spirit. Are they perfect? No, they're human. They've made mistakes. They've had setbacks. They've failed in public. But they didn't quit. They didn't let imperfection silence them. They kept showing up, kept speaking, kept building, kept moving. That's what makes them powerful. So why do we think we need to be any different? You don't have to wait until you're fully healed to help others. You don't have to wait until you've mastered everything to start something. You don't have to wait until you're fearless to take the leap. That power you're looking for, it's already in you right now. With the insecurities, with the doubts, with the messy parts of your story. And if you keep waiting for perfection, you'll miss the chance to use that power when it's needed the most. Now, here's the truth. People don't trust perfection. It feels fake. It feels unreachable. But when you show up as your whole self, raw, real, growing, that's when people lean in. That's when the impact happens. That's when you get out of your own way and let your life speak. So let this be your reminder: you are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too messy to matter. You are powerful because of your imperfection, not in spite of it. Every stumble has taught you something. Every flaw has shaped your resilience. Every mistake has given you wisdom. That's not weakness. That's your edge. Start talking to yourself like someone who knows this truth. Replace "I'm not good enough yet" with "I'm good enough to begin." Replace "what if I fail" with "what if this is the step that changes everything?" Replace perfection with progress. And watch how your life starts to flow again. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You just have to be present. You just have to be willing. You just have to believe that who you are right now, today, is enough to make an impact. So take the pressure off. Show up anyway. Speak up anyway. Try again anyway. Because your power doesn't come from being flawless. It comes from being fearless with your flaws. In a world that moves so fast, where everyone's posting their wins, milestones, new jobs, new houses, big moments, you can start to feel like you're falling behind, like you're late, like you're not doing enough. You scroll through your feed and it seems like everyone has their life together while you're still trying to figure out where to start. But here's what you need to remember. You are not behind. Your life isn't a race, and your timeline doesn't have to match anybody else's. You are allowed to grow at your pace. There's no one size fits all schedule for success. There's no universal deadline that says, by this age you should have this title, this income, this relationship, this lifestyle. That's made up pressure. And if you let it get to you, it'll make you rush your growth, skip steps you need, and push yourself into a version of success that doesn't even feel good when you get there. That's how people end up looking successful on the outside and feeling empty on the inside, because they were chasing someone else's path instead of honoring their own. Your journey is yours for a reason. Your lessons, your timing, your breakthrough moments, they all unfold in ways that are meant to grow you, not anyone else. And sometimes growth looks like blooming fast, and sometimes it looks like sitting still and taking root. Both are valuable, both are necessary, and neither one is wrong. We live in a culture that glorifies fast. Fast money, fast results. But what's fast doesn't always last. Think about nature. The strongest trees aren't the ones that grow overnight. They're the ones that grow slow, steady, deep. They take time to build roots before they ever shoot up. Why? Because when the storms come, and they will come, it's the roots that keep them standing. And that's the kind of growth you want. Give yourself permission to take your time, to figure things out, to try, mess up, try again, to sit in seasons of quiet, of reflection, of healing, without feeling like you're wasting time. Because nothing is wasted when you're learning. Nothing is wasted when you're becoming. And don't let anyone rush your process. People will try to put their expectations on you. Why aren't you married yet? Why don't you have a better job? When are you going to settle down? Don't internalize those voices. Don't let their timeline become your pressure. You have a right to protect your peace, your pace, your process. You're not lazy because you're not moving as fast as someone else. You're not failing because you're not at the same level. You're not lost just because you're still finding your way. Growth isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's internal. Sometimes it looks like small steps that nobody claps for. But those steps count. That progress matters. And the more you honor your own pace, the more grounded and authentic your growth becomes. And here's the thing. When you try to rush your growth, you don't actually speed up the process. You just add stress to it. You burn yourself out. You compare too much. You doubt too much. You rob yourself of the joy that comes from the journey itself. And the journey is where the real growth happens. The journey is what shapes your character, builds your resilience, teaches you patience, and prepares you for what you ask for. So if you're in a season where things feel slow, where nothing major is happening, where you're just doing the inner work, don't discount that. That's powerful. That's preparation. That's foundation building. And when the time is right, when you've grown deep enough, you'll rise, you'll bloom, and it'll be real. It'll be lasting because you didn't skip the process. Every day, remind yourself, I'm allowed to grow at my own pace. Say it until it drowns out the noise. Say it until you believe it. Say it until it frees you from comparing, rushing, and doubting your path. You're not behind. You're becoming, and your pace is perfect for your purpose. Keep going, keep growing, on your time, in your way. That's the real win. Let's be real. Everybody's got something they wish they could go back and do differently. We've all made decisions we regret. We've said things we didn't mean, stayed in situations longer than we should have, hurt people, and hurt ourselves. That's part of being human. But the problem is, too many of us are still carrying the weight of yesterday like it defines who we are today. We let our past mistakes play on repeat in our minds like a song we can't turn off, and it steals our peace, our confidence, and our future. But listen to me closely, your past is a place of reference, not residence. You are not meant to live there. You are meant to learn from it and move forward. Forgiving yourself isn't about acting like nothing happened. It's about acknowledging that it did, taking responsibility, learning what you need to learn, and then letting go. It's about giving yourself the same grace you would give someone you love. Why is it that we can be so kind to others, so forgiving when they mess up, but when it comes to ourselves, we beat ourselves up like we don't deserve a second chance? You deserve it. You deserve 100 chances if that's what it takes for you to grow, because growth isn't clean. Growth is messy. Growth comes with setbacks, bad days, and choices you wish you didn't make. But that doesn't mean you're not growing. That doesn't mean you're not becoming someone better, stronger, wiser. It just means you're on the path. And part of that path is learning how to forgive yourself and move with love. Forgiveness is freedom. It frees up space in your heart that was once filled with shame and turns it into power. You stop letting the voice of guilt speak louder than the voice of purpose. You stop letting yesterday define what you believe you're capable of today, because the truth is every version of you, yes, even the one that made mistakes, was doing the best they could with what they knew. And now you know more. Now you've lived more. Now you've learned. That's growth. You've got to start speaking to yourself with more kindness. Stop saying, I should have known better. You didn't. Now you do. That's wisdom. Stop saying, I ruined everything. You didn't ruin it. You redirected it. Stop saying, I'll never get it right. You're getting it more right every single day that you choose to keep trying. This journey isn't about perfection. It's about progress. And progress looks like showing up even after failure. It looks like loving yourself through the process. It looks like forgiving yourself over and over again, not because you're ignoring the past, but because you're choosing to believe in your future. And here's the other part of that statement. I'm proud of who I'm becoming. That's not about waiting until you reach the goal, until you're all healed, until everything's perfect. No, it's about being proud right now. Be proud that you didn't give up. Be proud that you're still growing. Be proud that you're showing up every day trying to do better. Be proud that even with everything you've been through, you still have hope. That's strength. That's power. And that deserves to be honored. Pride doesn't mean you think you've arrived. It means you see your worth even on the way there. It means you recognize how far you've come, even if you're not where you want to be yet. Because every step forward, no matter how small, is still movement. Every time you choose grace over guilt, every time you choose to try again instead of quit, you are becoming more of the person you're meant to be. So stop carrying yesterday like it owns you. You are not your past. You are not your worst day. You are not your biggest mistake. You are your resilience. You are your intention. You are your ability to get back up and keep growing. Start your day with this truth. I forgive myself for yesterday, and I'm proud of who I'm becoming. Let that be the way you love yourself forward. Let that be the mindset that carries you into better, stronger, more peaceful days. Because when you walk in self, forgiveness and pride in your growth, nothing and no one can stop your healing. Say that out loud. Let it sink in. Because for far too long, too many people have walked through life thinking they don't deserve peace unless everything is perfect, unless the bills are all paid, the relationships are flawless, the job is going well, and the world isn't falling apart. But peace is not something that waits for perfection. Peace is something you claim even in the middle of chaos. And yes, you deserve it. You deserve peace, not because you did everything right, not because you've never made mistakes, but because you're a human being. You were not born to carry stress like a badge of honor. You were not meant to live every day overwhelmed, anxious, or on edge. Somewhere along the way, people started believing that struggling all the time makes them stronger, that being constantly busy means they're more valuable, and that saying yes to everything somehow makes them good. That's not peace. That's burnout. And nobody was born to burn out. Deserving peace means you're allowed to set boundaries. You don't have to pick up every call. You don't have to respond to every message the minute it comes in. You don't have to be available 24/7 just to prove you care. Peace means you know when to say no and feel okay about it. You can say no to drama, no to guilt trips, no to things that steal your joy, and you're still a good person. Actually, you're a better person. Because a peaceful person is a more present person, a more kind person, a more loving person. You can't pour from an empty cup, and peace is how you refill it. Peace is not just something you feel, it's something you choose. Every day, you've got to choose it. That means not letting other people's opinions shake you. That means not getting dragged into fights that don't match your energy. That means protecting your spirit like it's sacred, because it is. You're not here to fix everybody's problems. You're not responsible for everybody's emotions. You can care, you can support, you can show up with love, but you are not the solution to everyone's storm. You've got enough storms of your own to calm, and peace is how you weather them. A lot of folks think peace comes from outside. They think it comes when people treat them right or when life finally goes their way. But the truth is, real peace starts on the inside. It's quiet, it's strong, and it doesn't depend on the world behaving itself. Real peace is when you can sit in the middle of a mess and say, I'm still okay. I'm not broken. I'm not defeated. I'm not done. That kind of peace is power. And to have that kind of peace, you've got to unlearn some things. You've got to unlearn the lie that struggle is noble. You've got to unlearn the idea that rest is lazy. You've got to unlearn the belief that being constantly stressed means you're doing something meaningful. You can be successful without suffering. You can work hard and still rest well. You can care deeply and still choose calm. That's balance. That's maturity. That's the life you actually deserve. There will be people who won't understand your peace. People who want to stir up drama. People who want you to stay in the same stressed out cycles because that's what they're used to. But you're not them. You're choosing different. You're choosing growth, and growth often means outgrowing what used to feel normal. So if peace feels strange at first, that's okay. It's just new. But it's yours, and it's worth it. Start telling yourself every morning, I deserve peace. Say it when things go right. Say it when they go wrong. Say it when the world is loud and when it's quiet. Let it become a promise to yourself. And then live like it's true. Live in a way that honors your heart, protects your energy, and gives yourself permission to breathe. You don't need anyone's approval to claim your peace. It's already yours. And the more you choose it, the more your life will begin to reflect it. So take a breath. Let go of what you can't control. Show up for what matters. Rest when you need to. Speak gently to yourself. Protect your space. That's how you say to the world, I know what I deserve, and I choose peace.